And then the OK Player tour happened, and then I found out that Talib was signing on. And then first day of tour, he was on the fellas bus, and then he decided he was going to move to my bus. And then we started having green tea in the mornings.
Green tea. Yeah. If you don't.
And talking about philosophy and jazz and shit. And then it was, Jag, I can't believe you married, and yada, yada, yada. So on the second night of the tour, we was
Real life. If that shit ain't real life,
if it ain't real life, just ain't real.
Real life street stars. You know what time it is.
Now I have to ask, because you got married young, or what they consider young. During that,
it was young.
It was young, and the reason I want to say it was young because, and I want you to address it because you're here, and you spoke it on yourself, but the Talib Kweli situation.
Yeah.
Was that a situation when you were willing to kind of throw everything?
Such a bad fucking memory now.
Yeah,
shit, I feel
man.
bad. Like I was watching Saturday Night Live, and I was like, you look like a whole fucking nerd. I can't believe I fucking had sex with you. Like I really can't.
Were you willing to throw it all away for Talib at the time? At the time.
Oh, you talking about the affair?
Yeah, at the time.
Okay, let me break it down.
Okay.
Apparently, Talib was interested in me before I got married. When I got married, it was me and my ex-husband had only been in each other's lives for 9 months. We eloped, and that was it. So the last time Talib had seen me, he came to Black Lily. I wasn't married yet, and the next time he came, I was married. He was very upset about it. And, I wish you hadn't got married. You don't know what I feel about you, yada, yada, yada. I'm like, okay, great. I was weird about that shit. I was like, okay, yeah, all right, whatever. Go fuck another bitch, you'll get over it. And it's, but then made it through the summer, and my marriage was already bad. Like, it was already bad. Like, 3 months in, it was bad. He had some kind of psychosomatic issue, so he had erectile dysfunction. He had to go to the strip club to get arousal. And I'm like, you ain't got to lie to go to the strip club. I'm at the strip club.
Right.
And these bitches like me more than they like you. I'm more fun. People keep forgetting I'm bisexual. So, I think he hated the fact that bitches was more into me than they were into him. I was just more fun. But, at the end of the day, the shit was already bad. I was already contemplating divorce. And then the OK Player tour happened, and then I found out that Talib was signing on. And then first day of tour, he was on the fellas bus, and then he decided he was going to move to my bus. And then we started having green tea in the mornings.
Green tea. Yeah. If you don't.
And talking about philosophy and jazz and shit. And then it was, Jag, I can't believe you married, and yada, yada, yada. So on the second night of the tour, we was fucking. I said, fuck it. That nigga over there, we over here. And then he was calling my room, and I wasn't answering. And this was like, I wasn't carrying cell phones in 1999 like that, especially not around and shit. I ain't give a fuck. There was always somebody around. There was always waiting. Plus, I liked not being reached so easily. And then that's when Tina snitched me out and told my ex-husband that I was in Talib's room, and then he flew out and all that shit. I think the best part about that whole story is that Night and Day turned it into a cartoon. That shit. I'm glad it happened just for that. Because that shit is funny as fuck and accurate. So, all of that shit happened, and then it was like, I was planning on filing for divorce, and then he came, and he was so heartbroken. He was always so fucking heartbroken. God, I wish he had been as big of a dick then as he became later. Like, you broke my heart. I can't believe you fucking had sex with him. Why not? He's a fucking rapper. I've been fucking rappers. You did this to me. You did that to me. Like, you ain't doing shit while I'm away. I was thinking about, I can't believe you want to get divorced. We're supposed to be together. We're supposed to have children. And then it was all about children after that. Children. So I ended up having a baby in the middle of the release of my first album. You know, The Pressure. He was my husband. I decided to marry him, so I gotta make it work. I gotta make it look good. I gotta make it look good for my family because I was a teen mom and I needed to create a family for my illegitimate child. And I gotta do this and I gotta be this and I gotta be that and I gotta be this and I gotta be that. And, you know, I mean, I think it lasted as long as it did because I had so many wonderful affairs.
Wow.
You know, if it my marriage.
They often say affairs help marriages.
I mean, I don't know if it helped mine, but it definitely prolonged it. Because see, every time I fucking had an affair, then I was the bad guy, and then I had to sit there, and I had to be humble and go to therapy. And, you know what I mean? I was always, but that's funny though, because I was always kind of like the nigga in a relationship.
Nah, facts.
You know, like I'll never forget the one time that me and my ex got into it when we were still at the family house in Voorhees, and I had looked over all the phone numbers on the phone bill. I was checking it because I had some issues with Sprint at the time. Sometimes back then, Sprint got really interesting with the billing.
Yeah.
You know. So I'm sitting there and I'm going through the numbers and I keep seeing this repeat number that's coming from his line. And so I called it, and it was some bitch that he was fucking with. And she said, you know, I'm sorry. I know he's married, but he said that you were in an asylum and you had lost your mind and he was lonely and da-da-da-da-da. And I was like, okay. I said, well, thank you, because what I'm about to do right now is lose my whole fucking mind. And she said, are you okay? I said, babe, you have no idea. I'm good. She said, why? I said, because I'm going to the Cayman fucking Islands this weekend.
Right.
Thank you. Guy that I used to date had a plane. He had been asking me to go to the Caymans with him so we could go gambling and kick it and do all that shit. But I was trying to be good, you know, giving my marriage a chance, you know. And then when I found the bitch's phone number, I'm like, yeah! So I call Henri and I tell him I'm available. And he told me he was gonna have the plane in Atlantic City at the tarmac. And I'm like, what time? And I'm like, I'll be there. So I start packing and get everything together. I cook some food and make sure that there's supper there in the house. You know, I'm not gonna leave real ignorant. You know, I'm gonna cook. And I cooked supper. And then my ex-husband came in and well, where are you going? I'm going to the Caymans. I'm going to Grand Cayman for the weekend. With who? With Henri. Who the fuck is that? I said, I don't know. Who is he? I said, I could ask you the same about this number, the highlighted number. Who the fuck is this?
Right.
Oh, I
Bye-bye.
said, it's cool. I already talked to her. She told me everything.
Bye-bye.
Dinner's in the stove. And I'm finna go. I'm finna go. You're not gonna leave? Yeah, I am. I got a plane waiting on me. I'm getting the fuck up out of here. Oh, so you think that you don't think we need to talk about this? I said, no. You fucking a whack bitch, and I'm fucking a nigga with a plane.
Damn. Oh, shit. God damn.
I said, point blank, and I said, anything you can do, I can do better. I can do anything better than you. Yes, you can. No, you can't. Yes, you can. No, you can't, bitch. Bye. I'll be back Tuesday. My mom will take the kids if you want to go out and fuck this bitch or something. We good. But the food is in there. Everything is, you know, be well.
It sounds like a good ass movie. I ain't gonna hold you.
And I rolled out.
Shit.
And then it kind of just got like that. The marriage just kind of became that. It was a series of affairs.
But if you like women, why y'all didn't ever just think about like doing things together? Like
we tried that once.
Oh, okay.
And I felt bad about it because the woman that we tried that with was really in love with me, and she didn't want to sleep with him, but she did it because of me. And there was a day, there was an experience that happened, and I saw how uncomfortable she was, and she just kept looking at me. she's sitting there fucking him, but she's sitting there staring at me saying, I love you. I love you. And I'm like, yeah, this is too much.
Now,
I went into the bathroom. I started freaking out. He likes to tell the story as I got jealous of seeing him with another woman.
I'm sure he likes to tell like that.
And I mean, that's cool. But the problem is the only time she would fuck him is if I asked her to. You know, it's one thing to brag on your dick if a bitch is really all about you and all for you. But if your wife has to make a bitch fuck you, are you really the player that you think you are? Like,
you're definitely not. You're definitely not.
I mean, he used to drop my name to chicks. Well, you know, I managed Jaguar Wright and yada, yada, yada. And that was his come on line. I said, you can't even get pussy without me.
That's deep. That's tough.
You know, so when it gets down to that, yeah, you just kind of stop giving a fuck. And it went to levels of don't give a fuck. And then I started noticing what it was doing to my son.
Yeah.
And I said, this has to stop. Me and you, we can play these games all day long. I've been fucking broken and built myself all the way back up again, but I'll be damned if I'm gonna let this shit kill that angel of a soul. And then that's when it just, you know, we got to the divorce. And then fucking the decade plus of ugly after that. He's been trying to make me feel sorry for so long. And I'm glad that I finally gotten to a place when it comes to that individual where I've made peace with it to a certain extent. It was just really interesting because before my son came home, when he was still up there, he was supposed to be coming for Christmas. We were trying to work it out, and then it just got weird. And then he was supposed to be going to Miami with my sister, but then he couldn't go anywhere because his dad couldn't afford to pay a ticket. And apparently he had like open heart surgery or some shit. And, you know, so his heart's all fucked up now. And, you know, and it's interesting. You would think that while he's dealing with all the complications of his life breaking down, I'm the smoker, I'm the drinker, he's supposed to be the perfect one. But they had to bust your heart open and unclog your arteries and shit and do all kinds of shit to you. He's had every kind of health scare I think you could think of, from prostate to the this to the that. And it's like, have you figured out yet that maybe the universe is trying to tell you something? Like, every time he do something fucked up to me, something bad happens to him. And you still keep justifying it and, you know, so whatever. So at the end of the day, I guess to sum it all up, I'm good. I'm good with it. Every fucking torture that he's put me through in my life has been worth it to me because it was all for my son.
Amen.
And the one thing that my child knows better than anybody, that nobody else could ever possibly know or understand, is that I'm the parent that's willing to die for him if need be. He knows that. He knows there's nothing that I won't do for him. There's not a lot of people that can say that about their parents, without a doubt. I went to jail for him. I fought cases for him. I've dealt with bullshit for him. And yeah, no, I love him.
Now
Probably love him more than I've ever loved anyone in my life.
Now you said an astronomical number while we was talking.
What?
1.5 million.
Oh yeah, how much money he beat me out of?
Yeah.
Fleecing my fucking accounts, doing all kinds of shit, going to my ex-business manager, which is why I fired him, and having him cut checks while I'm on the road for nothing. All kinds of shit. Meanwhile, I come home and I gotta pay foreclosure on my house because you ain't paid the fucking mortgage while I was gone either, bitch. There's a whole lot of fucking shit. He done beat through a whole lot of fucking cash. And he's still sitting here begging for another $16,000 in child support. I'll get around to it. I'm about to challenge it because the number's wrong. You know, technically, I've been unemployed.
There you go. Stand on
You
it.
can't charge me whatever you thought you was going to charge me for child support. I have to be able to prove that I made said income. My son was murdered. I was grieving for a year.
Right.
And then after that, the pandemic came. And then I had a whole emotional breakdown over a friend dying. And I fucking cried bloody murder on the whole world. And then my life was threatened. I had to go on the road. And all of this shit has been documented online. So yeah, didn't nobody make no fucking money. Technically.